Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason, and honestly, I'm really excited for the time that we are having in our country these days, because chickens are becoming a thing. I mean, everybody obviously understands that egg crisis is what it is, right? There's a shortage of it, the prices are going up, and chickens are becoming a valuable commodity because of those beautiful eggs that they lay every day, or most every day. Seems like a lot of the hatcheries are sold out of chickens in general, but especially their best egg laying chickens up into June or July. A lot of places are sold out. Now, we buy our chickens from McMurray Hatchery, and luckily we got our order in already, because anything you might want is sold out until about June or July. So it's getting really difficult if you haven't bought your chickens yet to find what you're looking for. And that's because a lot of people are buying chickens for those beautiful eggs. And that's why I want to talk to you today about the one thing, the main thing, the one thing you need to successfully raise backyard chickens. And there's going to be a lot of people tell you a lot of different things about raising chickens. We've done a lot of videos about chickens. 10 years ago, we just immersed ourselves in the chickens. We haven't had chickens but for about 8 years, but 10 years ago, we immersed ourselves into reading about chickens, learning about chickens, studying them, understanding what it is that we're getting ourselves into when we do buy chickens. And because of all that studying and the 8 years of hands-on experience we've had personally with them, and then also being raised with chickens as well, and have been around them as a kid, there is one main thing that I've learned about chickens. They're obsessive compulsive. They are OCD. Isn't that right, Bella? Yeah. Especially you, Tootie. Are you OCD, Tootie? Yeah, you are. What about you, Sweetness? Yeah. They like things the same way all the time. And so therefore, the main thing you need to successfully raise backyard chickens is consistency. Consistency in their living conditions, consistency in their feed, consistency in your daily process, in the chores and the feeder and the water that you use. Everything. Consistency is key. First off, consistency in their feed. They need good, consistent feed, and the same feed. So if you're raising chickens for the very first time, maybe you try one feed, you don't like it, so you try another one. That's okay, but you don't need to keep switching feed back and forth. They need one good feed and need to stick to that one good feed. And if you have to switch, okay, you have to switch, but don't keep switching back and forth. I know I've seen people in groups I'm a part of on Facebook, for instance, that will switch this, like, well, I'll go to Tractor Supply and I'll get this. Then next week I got this, and the next week I went back to the other one. One feed. Quit confusing your chickens. They don't like that. They want the same thing. They really, really do. I promise you. They want the same good feed every time. So find the same good feed every time. Find the source, right? Find a consistent source, whereas maybe Tractor Supply is inconsistent. It's very possible that the local the local feed store that everybody goes to is a little inconsistent with getting that feed. Maybe they're out of it sometimes. Find a place that has the same feed every single stinking time you need feed, right? Because your chickens need the same feed every time. Because after all, the goal is for them to lay good eggs, right? So you need to make sure that they have the conditions they need. Consistency in the conditions as well is a big deal. Obviously, you can't control the weather, right? But they need shelter. They need dry bedding. They need, protection from the elements. They need consistency in where they're at. Their living quarters need to be consistently clean. They need to be consistently safe. Consistency is the very essence of everything that they need. They need the same thing, because this is their world. My backyard is as far as these chickens have ever been. They don't know anything else outside my privacy fence. This is one world. They think that the two humans that take care of them just appear out from behind this wall of the house, right? We appear from back there. That's where we are at. There's nothing else outside of this. So this is just a very small world, and it needs to stay consistent for them. Like I said, even down to their waterers. Their waterers need to stay the same. I mean, obviously they might break or whatever. Go buy the same waterer. Unless something happens and that doesn't work right, maybe it doesn't become what you need anymore, right? Or maybe it doesn't work for what you do. But don't keep switching it back and forth. They need the same style of water every time. Like I don't want to have adult chickens here that they're drinking waterers out of these drinkers. They're going to drink out of this same drinker or this drinker every single day, right? And then all of a sudden, I decide I want to switch to the nipple waterers, or to the little drinkers that they tap the little cup and the water comes out. They don't need that. They need the same water. If you take mature adult hens and are giving them their water one way, then I'm saying you change completely how it's done, they might just think and not drink water anymore. I'll be honest with you. It might throw them off that much, and it will certainly stress them out. If they can't find that water, they're going to get stressed out, and that is a problem. You do not want to cause your chickens stress for no reason at all. It's going to be the same with their feeder. This feeder right here is the same feeder they've had forever, and it's the same way they eat their feed forever. That's actually a kind of a point of contention for me, because I have one that wants to scrape the feed out of there, but I can't change their feeder up too much because they're used to eating out of that contraption, that vessel. That's where their food is at. Like I could go buy a trough feeder, but that's not the same as what they've been eating out of. They're used to their food being in that contraption, that style of vessel, hanging in that way, being given to them that way. This is like, and dropping down out of that tube that way, okay? Their entire life. If you change that now, it messes with their little chicken brains. Now, chickens are not stupid, okay? Don't go thinking they're stupid. They're OCD. There's a difference. They need the same thing all the time. We have chickens that come out in the yard. We let them out in the yard every evening. We have chickens that come out in the yard every evening and do the same thing all the time. They'll take the same route, the same path. They know that if I come out of that garage door, I might have a treat for them. So they come running at me thinking, oh, there's a treat, there's food there. They see me, they think food. They see me come out of the garage door, they think food. It's one way only. There's no variation in their mind. It's the same thing all the time. They need you to do the same thing every day as well. They need you to let them out of their chicken coop the same way. They need you to have the same process every day. We let these chickens out in the evenings. Okay, so at dusk, we'll come out here and they get out and they run around the yard to forage, scratch, get some grass, get some space, run around, everything. When it starts to get dark, we have chickens piled up in the corner. Literally, we'll come out here, or we'll look from the kitchen window, and these chickens will all be gathered up right through here because it's time to get out. They know that at that time, it's time for us to come outside, open that door up, prop it open, and let them run around the yard. That's just what they're used to. If it happens where we can't or we don't, they'll start cackling. They'll freak out because something has interrupted their process that happens every day. If we're too late getting them out in the mornings, they're gonna cackle. They're gonna cackle. They're not gonna be happy. They're gonna be upset. One time I fell asleep on the couch when it's time to let them out in the morning, and it was like 9 o'clock before I woke back up, and they were not happy, or maybe 8:30. Either way, they were not happy, right? Because they've been cooped up literally too long. And what I'm saying is, it is okay to make changes, but they need to be made for a good purpose, first of all, and not very often. Okay, like I can't go in here and just change their roost around, move their nest boxes and change their roost around. That's too much, and there's no reason for it. Should I have done it differently when I set up the coop? Maybe, but that's been 8 years ago. But it's over, it's done with. So now it's in there the way it is, and it's gonna have to stay that way because that's too much of a change for them. That's a security change. They can't have that. You know, that's a daily change. That's a change where they sleep at, a change where they lay their eggs at. You don't want to change that around. It's going to cause them undue stress. And they need all that consistency to help them consistently lay good, consistent eggs. Now I'm saying that because of this. Your feed needs to be consistent and balanced. Balance is part of consistency in reality, okay? So your feed needs to be balanced. Not too much protein, not too little protein. Balance. Honestly, 18% or less. Most feeds are 16 or 17%. That's really where you want to be at for a good layer feed. And therefore, you give them good balance, good consistency, and then a good chicken will give you a consistent sized egg. You don't really want a hen to lay a lot of big, massive eggs, okay? Like, unless that's just her nature. Some hens just have a nature of laying jumbo-sized eggs, and they do it consistently, and that's okay if that's their egg size. But if you have a chicken or a hen who should be laying just a good large egg, and once every 3 weeks she starts popping out a big, massive egg, and she keeps doing it over and over and over, there's a sign that your feed is not consistent. Because a good hen who's going to lay a good, consistent sized egg is a hen that's going to consistently lay for years to come. And that's what you're really looking for, is a hen who is consistent. But she needs that consistency first. Now obviously some hens might, especially a young hen, a pullet, we'll say a hen that's under 1.5 years old, she might trip a big egg once in a while, a big double yolker, and that's okay. But she don't really need to lay more than 2 or 3 of those in her life, in her first year there, because then you might say she's probably feeds unbalanced a little bit, okay? Or maybe she's under some stress of some kind, because stress can pop that too. But it's okay in her first year. Now, again, the key is though, be very consistent. So again, buy them backyard chickens, raise them chickens, get them delicious and beautiful eggs, but be consistent while you're doing it, and you'll have a much happier flock and get much better eggs for much longer into their life. So thank y'all for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you. Goodbye.